after a little mini hiatus of a week, and it's really made me realize what is my number one success, key to success, the key to my success. So this little, oh, first before we get into that, and I share that with you, look at this beautiful opalite. Is it not incredibly amazing? It's like, it looks like it's actually lighting up on me, but it's just incredible. It's supposed to be good for the throat chakra. Anyways, let's get to the success secret. So yeah, if you noticed, I haven't been on here in about a week or so, and I've still been doing the raw vegan and trying to get all the energy that I can from that. But really what it's come down to is, I would say in the last week, I haven't had any cacao. So I was doing ceremonial cacao and cacao almost every single day for about a good month or so. And now it's so obvious to me, like I can't deny it anymore, that cocoa and cacao are easily, it's like, it's obvious to me after all these years of experimentation with raw veganism, with all these different superfoods and supplements and different things and herbal tinctures and medicines and CBDs and like all the things I've tried, creatine, everything for energy, right? It's clear that for me in particular, and I think for so many as well, being no caffeine, but then only doing like a little bit of caffeine through cacao and ceremonial cacao, it just really lights me up, and it gives me just this really kind of like sustained energy and focus like every single day. And yeah, it's just so obvious and so clear to me. And I was at my sister's house the other day. We were swimming in her amazing saltwater pool, and we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, you should definitely try cacao. And if I'm being honest with you, back in my early YouTube days, I was not a coffee drinker. I was not a coffee person. I have never been a coffee person. I would say I started drinking coffee. This is crazy. You all are going to think this is absolutely crazy. Like, I would say that I started drinking coffee when I was 26. And prior to that, I just was not a coffee drinker. And some people have asked me, how do I look so good for my age? I'm a little over 40 now. Like, how do I have so much collagen? Like, how is my skin so good? How am I looking so good at 40? I think a large part of that is I don't drink coffee, and I'm not drying myself out. And that's not just coffee, that's tea as well. Like, over this last week when I didn't have the cacao, I was trying matcha, because matcha is supposed to be anti-aging as well. And actually it was drying me out. It was like, I was like, this is really crazy. Like, I can't believe that I can't even drink matcha tea. Like, it used to be so light for me. But I also have like a decent amount of stress in my life right now. You know, comparatively speaking to most people, I live on a super busy road, and I don't really jive with the place that I've been living in for like the last 2 years. So, you know, I'm definitely not in the place where like I can sit in a meditative space and stir up my ceremonial matcha tea and just really savor it, you know, and like, and just, I feel like if you're gonna have caffeine, you need to have that time and space, you know, like you need to live out in the heart of nature where you don't have all of these other stressors on you on the daily. Like, it's really wild. Like, now when I get out into nature and I'm in like the heart of nature, I'm in the forest or something like that, I feel my throat chakra. It's almost like I could feel how living in a suburban area, like the EMFs and the light pollution and the noise pollution, the car pollution and all these things, how it weighs on me. And it's like it shuts me down, it limits me as a person, it limits my voice, my expression, and my ability to do that. And I literally feel like when I'm out in nature, this pulsating in my throat chakra, in my thyroid area, of just like my nervous system coming to a more calm state of being. And especially now that I'm on the, and this is the importance, so I'm not totally shrugging off the raw vegan diet, like, oh, raw vegan, it's not doing it for me, because I know there was a time in 2012 when like I was so raw vegan. I was like surviving on spinach, ginger water, and like the occasional peanut butter. It was like, and that was all I needed. And I totally understand people that can get their body and mind into that place where they're almost in an autonomous kind of state. You know, they're in like a ketosis. They're kind of beyond ketosis, where they're just getting their energy and their life force from life itself, you know, not just the inputs, the things that they're eating, but like from the sun, from people, from music, from experiences. Hey, Ryan and Josh, so good. Ryan, hey Ryan, good to see you in here. From experiences, from their friends, from their social connections, from what they do in life, you know, and you can totally get yourself into that place, right? And I know that that's even more powerful than cacao. Although it'd be interesting to see what like a super clean raw vegan diet with cacao would be like, because I haven't really tried that yet. But at this moment in time, for me, creatively speaking, cacao is, I mean, you can see the difference. I didn't go live or make a YouTube video for like what, a week, 5 days, and albeit I had company. My daughter's grandparents came in from Florida, and I was busy and this and that, and then, you know, other things I had to attend to, so there was stuff happening. But at the same time, I just had like no motivation at all to go live and to share, and I didn't have any creative ideas, and like the synapses in my brain just weren't connecting. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I can do it, I can go live. It was like I wasn't thinking. And so I tried matcha, and I even tried espresso for a couple of days, and I just felt dried out and tired, and I was like, whoa, my brain, it just doesn't do anything on espresso, on green tea right now. And like I said, maybe if I was in the forest, it would be a little bit different. If I lived in a cabin. And that's the funny thing, is like, I feel like if you live in the heart of nature, like you're out in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, it's such a, I want to say it's like a high vibration, but it's also a low grounding vibration, living out in nature, right? It's like so low that like you actually need that green tea or like that cup of espresso to like get you up and doing things in the real world, like to get you to get out and to get you to do your job and like all the things that you need to do, right? So there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Oh gosh, what was it? I'll read a couple of comments and then maybe it will come to me. Ken Kenneth, first time I'm seeing you in here. Walking is the only exercise you can hold an umbrella and not get wet. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, and Ryan and Josh said, hey, there she is. Yeah, I'm back. So yeah, just that little update from me today. I'm happy to be back. Clearly the cacao is working for me again. And what was the other thing that I wanted to talk about today? It's like completely slipping my mind. And this is where the professional version of me is like, why don't you take notes and like prepare for these things? But maybe this is also a good time and like a good moment to just try to be present in the moment, you know, because it's almost a little bit like my mind is kind of fragmented at this moment in time. There's a lot of other things I could bring up. I haven't talked to you all in like a good solid week. You know what I mean? I feel like summer is so full on right now, and it's just, I have like two modes of thinking. One is like, oh my God, this Leo season is so awesome. I love it when we're in the midst of summer and it's just like everything is chill. We can finally decompress. And then at the same time, we're being marketed this idea of like, let's make plans for fall. Like, let's not be fully decompressed and just chill out in the literal hottest point of summer right now. Let's start thinking about fall and like buying mums or whatever at the Home Depot. Like, I literally drove past Home Depot yesterday and I was like in the mindset of what kind of food can I grow right now? Because I know there's a lot of crops that you can grow right now. Like, my lettuce is finally thriving. I'm so happy. We went through that little heat wave and my lettuce all died, and thankfully it's kind of coming back and it bolted. So like, there's a lot of food that you can actually grow right now, but you go past these super commercial stores like Home Depot and all these other places, and it's like, are you ready for fall? Are you ready to stop eating food that you grow? There's like no plants outside. I'm just like, this is so unreal. It's so unreal. It's so commercialized, and it just drives me nuts that so many people right now, especially in Connecticut and New England, should be chilling the F out. We're in the hottest point of summer right now. Go to the beach, lay out in the sun and like feel the heat. We're in Leo season, and these commercially minded companies are trying to get people into a cool mindset, right? Like, oh, are you thinking about fall already? It's like, no, at least I'm not. And I think the majority of people hopefully are not. I hope that you are enjoying this hot time, that you are relaxing your mind, body, and nervous system in this super amazing time where we can literally thrive because the temperatures are closer to our natural body temperature. Like, I like to think about that a lot, right? I noticed that when I traveled to India, and you know, most people, they're not acclimatized, they can't handle hot weather. And I think that's kind of nuts that like we have an internal body temperature of 98 degrees and most people can't even handle 98-degree temperatures, which technically you'd think would be ideal, right? Your body would be in a totally equanimous state. It wouldn't be struggling to stay warm or even to stay cool. Like 98 degrees should be ideal, but most people are freaking out. They've got their air conditionings on, and you know, it, for me, living in Connecticut, it's been a real struggle. I've always felt like the odd one out when I'm the only person outside at the restaurant and it's like 85 degrees, maybe feels like 86 with humidity, and I'm sweating and I feel like a gross pig, but I'm like, you all should be out here with me because you're not, you're gonna have to cry this out later. Like, emotionally, you can sweat, you get your lymphatic system moving, you know what I mean? Like, you clear yourself out emotionally, mentally, physically. We release so much through the water in our bodies, through our pores, and when we sweat. And when people, I was talking to my daughter about this at the restaurant we went to, and she's like, I want to help these people, I want to tell them to be outside and to sweat. And I said, you know, that's maybe something you can tackle one day, but ultimately you just kind of have to live by example and show people how healthy you are, show them how happy you are, and eventually they might get it, you know. But for the most part, the majority of people are just on their hamster wheel, and they want to keep going and doing the things that they're doing, even though it doesn't really serve, you know. And one last thing that I want to leave you all with today is just talking a little bit about being an adult. And as we get older, all of the ways that we need to remember, I think especially as women, I can't speak for men, but I can speak for women, I can speak for people, and I'd say maybe as an adult, right? I've found that it's become more and more difficult as life becomes more complicated So when I was single, before I started a family, I pretty much knew what I needed. You know, like the occasional salt bath, just sitting out, hanging at the beach, right? Getting all of that good sunshine, eating my fruits and veggies. And then when you have all of these responsibilities and different things to cater to and dependents and people who need you, sometimes you can sort of lose sight of what you really need. So I just wanted to talk a little bit on that today, just about how as an adult, and especially busy adults, you know, like we have to pay the bills and do all of these things, but we need to remember that self-care is so important. And as an adult, yeah, like I try to check all of those boxes off of like all the things I need to do, right? Like take the E3 Live every day and try to take the multivitamins as I can, and try to take the multivitamins every day if I can, and eat clean and organic and local foods, right? And try not to eat fake foods. Try to eat living real foods. And then, but then there's other things that you need to do, right? We've got chemtrails. And I think in all my moving around, I never realized, it's funny, like when you move to a really toxic place. So I could say that the area that I've lived in for the last 2 years is definitely toxic, and that's on a literal, like literal terms. I've got so much noise pollution where I live, from the cars, and then so much just car pollution, and then the chemtrails are really crazy here. I can smell them all the time, and there's not that many trees to clear that out. And so I just kind of got thrown into that. It's the first time that I've ever really lived in an area that's demanded so much of me. It takes away from my sleep and this and that, which has taken away from my ability to regulate myself and say, okay, well, I used to be able to take one salt bath every month or two and be fine with it. Well, now I am finally coming to the realization that the more toxic of a place you live in, the better you need to care for yourself. And now I need to take a salt bath every a couple of weeks, or maybe every week, to remain regulated and calm in my nervous system. And it's just wild. Like with all the stuff, I never used to think about this stuff. I was like a real wild individual, you know, like with COVID, like I didn't stop traveling. All right. I was like, whatever. I never got vaccinated. I didn't do any of that. Okay. Like I could see through all of it from the beginning. Now the Fauci files are out. You all know, like I could see that all from the beginning, right? I'm like connected to God and source. Okay. So I get the real downloads, but yeah. So I digress. What was the point I was getting at? Oh man, I wish I could go back in time right now. So yeah, like I just, isn't that wild how that could just, even just thinking about all of that throws me off my flow? Isn't that nuts? So, oh God, does anyone, can you all help me out? What was the point that I was getting at? What was I saying just before? There was something else just before the whole COVID thing. So yeah, I'm just like a real rough and tough, rugged individual. It's hot today. It's like, it's actually hot. So I'm like, phew, needing a little bit of water would probably help me to focus here. Oh God, I totally forgot. Thank you, COVID, for throwing me off. It's just a total brain fart there. That's amazing. This is like a first in a long time. But to be fair, I've totally gotten out of the flow of going live and trying to maintain my thought process. And I guess I can try to come around to the point. So I'm a rugged individual, right? Like I'm connected to nature, and man, and that's that. Chemtrails. Thank you, Ryan. Chemtrails, right? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, chemtrails, salt baths. So I'll get on that topic. So basically, a salt bath is one really good way to detox from chemtrails. Like and all of that stuff, all of the environmental pollutants. Thank you, Ryan, you saved the day. All of the environmental pollutants, right? We forget. Oh yeah. And so you totally saved the day, Ryan. You're amazing. So I stopped going to the beach, right? Because it just feels like, so when I was single, back in my single days, that's what I was talking about. I was a really rough and tumble individual. I didn't care about COVID. I didn't follow the news lines. I was realistic, you know, like I was traveling the world, and I was never living in fear. Like my world was bigger than like this tiny little box of the phone that was telling me what was going on in the world and what I should think, and what, you know, I wasn't really a consumer. I was just kind of like maybe eating one meal a day, like, you know, whatever, just, oh God, if I got sick from something that I ate, I didn't think too much about it. It was like, oh, I just toughened myself up, whatever. Now it's like I live in this little box, in this little world. I haven't traveled much abroad in like 5 or 6 years, and I hear things like flesh-eating parasite, and then suddenly it's like I haven't gone in the ocean swimming. Like I've gone to the ocean, but I haven't like proper swam in the ocean in like a year or two, where I used to go to detox and like decompress a few times in the summer. Like I'd go to the beach and I'd make sure that I got in the water, because I knew that that immediately regulated my nervous system and relaxed my muscles and my nerves and reset my nervous system. And like I got a few mosquito bites that I scratched, and then I read these headlines about flesh-eating parasites and bacterias, and I'm like, oh my God, now I can't get in the ocean, right? And it just blows my mind how this is even affecting me. It's like, yeah, it just blows my mind. And I'm trying really, and I can see myself more recently coming back to myself. I'm doing my yoga again. I'm losing so much weight and feeling amazing on this raw vegan diet. And I feel like in a lot of ways my life has never been better. It's really never been better, and I'm happy to be coming back around to that power and that strength, you know, to be having very powerful meditation sessions again, and then having amazing days because of that, because I'm not living in somebody else's program of fear that's been marketed to me through my phone. I'm living my life, my life, my story, right? And there really is like two different worlds. There's this world of the phone and the matrix and the iPad and all of that and everything that it does to you. And then there's a world just outside of that where like you could put it down. Like now I go to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I don't look at the phone after that. That time is my time to regulate my circadian rhythm, to get in touch with nature. And it's really wild. It's like now my body knows once that phone is done, it's off. 9 o'clock, 9:30, it doesn't matter how much I want it. It's off, it's done. And then the real downloads start to come through. My thoughts start to come through. My mental processes start to come through. I can hear myself. And it's so important. It's really important. Like I've definitely been influenced a lot in the last couple of years since coming back to America by people who are just like in their phones all the time, just like their world is that. And it's really, if we're not careful, it's if those are some of the people that we're closest to, we can really get sucked into that reality. And for me, it's been wild. It's been a bit of a struggle. But thankfully, I'm coming back around to yoga. I always knew, especially when I was single and I had nobody else. For the longest time, all I had was yoga. And I was literally thinking, this is such a silly thought, but I'm going to share it with you. This is how much I love yoga. If the world was ending tomorrow, okay, the last thing you would see me doing would be yoga asanas. I would not care. I would not care, because I know that ultimately there's no point in stressing, because there are certain practices that we can gain our liberation through. And I know that for me, yoga is definitely one of those things. And so happy to have a deep, super deep yoga practice again. And I think my time might be running short. I've got a lot of movement around me, child walking around now, dog walking around, alerting me to something. But I'm so happy that I got to be on here with you all for like 23 minutes, and just to be here, be present with you, you know, and share just my joy of being back into my flow, and just how happy I am to just have this energy to get on here and share with you all and share good vibes yet again, you know, wonderful vibes, and talk about yoga and talk about meditation and all of the things that work for me. So yeah, for real, like if the world was ending tomorrow, literally all I ever want to do is yoga. I used to do yoga every day, and then I really got thrown off of my yoga practice for a number of years. First, it was my daughter. From year 1.5 up until I'd say year 3, every time I was doing yoga, she thought I was her personal jungle gym. And I had to deal with that, you know. There was no more Zen yoga moments where I was just doing my asanas and it was peaceful. It was like, no, I was doing Padmasana, whatever, I forgot the name of it now, and which is bad because I'm technically a certified yoga teacher, and she would just be climbing up me like a tree, and part of me was like, well, this is really painful and not very Zen, and part of me was like, well, this will make me stronger. But now all of me is like, I'm so grateful that she's at the age where she actually finally understands and respects my yoga practice, and I can actually do that now and just be with myself on my mat in my space. And I really feel like I've earned that. I've literally been a jungle gym for her for the last like 3 to 4 years, and now I have really earned my space, and I'd say I'm a more powerful yoga teacher than ever. Yoga teacher, a more powerful yoga practitioner than ever because of those challenges. So yeah, wow. So let's go back and read. A few people said some things. Ken Kniff said, you were saying the more toxic a place is, the more you have to look after yourself. It's so true. It's so true. But even when you're not in a toxic place, you know, like it's hard to know what you really need on a daily basis unless like you make a schedule or something, you know. And I feel like maybe I'll go and do that afterwards. And just, I think this is a good practice to have. Just like write down all of the things that work for you. You know what I mean? Like salt baths, good for men and women, right? Everyone, everybody. It's like there's toxins in our environment and we can't always get to the beach, and the salt helps to pull it out of us. And sometimes, you know, depending on who we're surrounded by, we can really get sucked into the commercial aspect of things. Like I found myself last month, buying a salt spray for my face, and I was like, oh, it's gonna make my skin look so good, totally forgetting that like you need to treat your whole being, your whole body. It's not just about how it makes your skin look. It's like taking a salt bath is going to detox you like on such a deep level, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I find lately, especially in this area that I live in, that oftentimes I really get sucked into like the commercial aspect of things versus like why it's necessary for other mental, emotional reasons, etc., you know. Ryan and Josh News Network said, where I live, there's actually no cell service, and when I was younger, I didn't like it, but it's amazing just to be not found. You're in your own adventure. No one can bother you. Just me and the trees. And that's so true. And another thing that's so weird, like I feel like, well, we need to, oh God, I feel like eventually we will come around to realize, like the super sensitive people will come out and be like, look, we need Wi-Fi that is less toxic. Like if you think about it, sure, Wi-Fi is invisible, right? But I'm one of those people who can stand in a house without Wi-Fi and actually hear the silence of the place. And then I could be in my house where there's like Wi-Fi over there, like 5 different Wi-Fis and my Wi-Fi, and I'm in a townhouse, so that guy's Wi-Fi and all those people's Wi-Fi. And this is why I said I would never live in a townhouse. I only moved back here for my grandfather to be closer to him before he passed away a few years ago now, or like a year ago now. But I can hear the buzzing. Like I can actually hear the buzzing, and it bothers me. It actually bothers me. And it's funny because I had a guy come for the Wi-Fi, and I actually wanted him, I told him, so he came in and I was like, he's like, what do you want, an upgrade? And I laughed. I'm like, no, I want the old fashioned, like, can you put a cord in? And I hate this Wi-Fi, like I want to connect to the wall. And he's like, are you, like, he looked at me and he's like, are you crazy? Like, and I'm like, are you crazy? Like, are you so constipated and like insensitive and like, and just clouded in your head and your mind and your body that you can't hear the buzzing and feel how draining it is to be around this Wi-Fi? Like, you're crazy. Actually, like, I'm not crazy because I'm sensitive and like healthy, you know? So he just kind of looked at me sideways, but he did it. And now like we have it so the Wi-Fi goes off at a certain time and you can still use it, but it's like not technically here. But still, I'm picking up on the Wi-Fi all around me, and it's like there really is a better connection when you go out into the woods. It's just about like what connection you want. You know, what connection do you actually want? Do you want what's being fed to you? You know, or do you want what God intended you to hear? You know, I think life is about balance and trying to find balance between those things, right? Like, yeah, the internet's wonderful. It's amazing. It's an amazing tool. But I was literally pondering today, I was like, what would the world be like if we actually reinvented the wheel? And I mean, like, if we went back in time and decided that America doesn't actually, so if we realize now in today's times that America doesn't run on Dunkin', like, you know, the slogan, America runs on Dunkin', it runs on wheels, okay? And like so many things run on wheels. And for such a long time, we've had the wheel. And I was just like, what would we do? Where would we be as a civilization? What choice would humanity have made if we weren't so fascinated with physics? Like, if, like, what would we have if we just maybe tried to evolve ourselves instead of our inventions? And I was pondering that this morning, and I'm sure there's a good book out there somewhere that talks about it. And if any of you are watching this live and can comment that or leave a comment on this video later and let me know. But I was just really thinking about that deeply, and I'm like, where would humanity be if we didn't put so much reliance on our tools? You know, our bows and arrows and our fire and our wheels. If we were just like all the other beings and we were like, I am enough. I'm enough. I don't need the wheel. I don't need the arrow. I don't need the fire. Like, where would we be? What point would we have evolved to? Like, how many times in history have human beings fallen for this need to create, right? And create and just identify ourselves through our creations and what we've created, and then what we're consuming because of what we're getting because of the tools that we created, you know? I just feel like something in me, maybe it's the yoga that I've been doing lately, my deep yoga, that's got me thinking differently like this. But I was like just really wondering, and I'm sure there are societies out there somewhere in the world who, and I can feel it, they're living without tools. They're living just, I don't know, I guess maybe you could say some yogis like in the Himalayas are doing that, right? But I'm talking about like humanity as a whole, society, right? Where would we be without the wheel? And I'd love to see like if that just happened tomorrow. Like if we all just woke up tomorrow and we were like, all right, we don't care about the wheel anymore. We're tired of it. What's next? By the way, Ryan, your train thing that you have is super cool. Like we could keep that. We'll keep the train. We'll keep like the one train thing that you have. He's got like this cool train that goes through the woods. We'll keep that. But all the other wheels can go. Wow, lots of questions and comments. Gray Tennessee said, first rain in 6 weeks. Looking forward to hunt down some delicious fungi. Are you a fungi? In the forest for early autumn dish. Oh, we got to talk about that. I've been so interested in foraging and getting to know the plants and the fungi and the fungus more. Like I've got, my daughter's always asking me every time we see a mushroom or a fungus, and I'm just like, it's something that I haven't been able to devote a lot of time to, is knowing more about the fungi and the plants that are actually around me, foraging and all of that. That's awesome though. That's super cool. You have fun hunting down that delicious fungi. Best of luck to you. Ryan says, Ryan Josh, amen. Amen. I noticed the same. There's different vibrations in the air without Wi-Fi or cell service. It's like your blood pressure is calmer or something. Oh yes. It's instant. It's instant for me. It starts here and it drops down. It's just like, I love nature so much. Gray says, you're totally right. You're Americans even enter that stationary phone with curly 20-foot cable connection. Yeah, I loved that old connection. Invented. You Americans invented that stationary phone. Yeah, the stationary phone was cool. Ken says, I did a Google search on humanity's biggest mistake. I won't tell you the answer. You will not be surprised. Yeah, I know what it is. But it could be the wheel. The biggest mistake could have been the wheel. Like we might have had a choice. Like aliens might have come down and they were like, do you want to evolve your feet to be like super evolved and like have amazing feet that can like do amazing feats? Or do you want a wheel? Like, do you want to understand physics? And someone was like, I'll take physics. I don't know. Kids, okay, Gray said, but how about Celestine's prophecy, living under very old trees with high techno? I haven't heard about that. That's interesting. Cool. Well, anyways, everyone, it's been a great chat. Great chatting with you today, and great to connect with you all again. I'm happy to be back after like a little hiatus. Oh, the book I might like is Celestine's Prophecy. Yeah. Oh, thanks. I'm going to check that out. Definitely going to check that out. All right, everybody. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me here today for this quick connection and conversation. And if you have anything else to say, I'm sorry if I'm cutting off any of your thoughts, you can leave it as a comment below and I will reply to it in the comment section. Definitely will give you a ring sometime, Ryan. It'll be great to connect with you again. All right, everybody, hugs. Much love to you all. I'm actually hugging my phone. Do you feel it? Do you feel that? Okay, good. All right, till next time, everybody. Bye, take care, and have a great, amazing, hot Leo season and summer.